Albert is an 11-year-old cob gelding who missed 13 two-hands. Albert's exercise regime consists of riding school sessions for further education students at Writtle University College. The aim of this training plan is to improve relaxation and suppleness, therefore leading to the end goal of leg yield. As shown in this photo, Albert does not fit equally into the three sections, with a larger forehand and a smaller hindquarters. Albert also presents with an upright shoulder conformation and an average textbook pelvis anglination. Base narrow conformation also restricts the abduction of the limbs. This rider has ridden for Writtle University Bucks team in first year with an interest and experience in low-level dressage. This training plan aimed to utilise different range of exercises, improving Albert's suppleness and rhythm. These exercises included a range of different circles, variations, turn on the forehand, with the end goal being that Albert was able to perform leg yield. However, the incorporation of hogged poles was not mentioned within this training plan. These were also incorporated to teach Albert to cross over the midline singly before asking for leg yield. An initial assessment was conducted on Albert on both reins in walk, trot and canter, where it was identified that to get the best response from Albert, it was best to stick to walk, which would progressively move to trot if time was not a limitation. Dressage trainer Thomas Ritter suggests that by using a slower pace such as walk, this will aid to improve the horse's rhythm, balance and suppleness, scales of training of which Albert is lacking during schooling sessions. Knowledge of the horse's personality is important in both horse and rider relationship. Understanding the subject allows for the training plan to best fit the horse's behavioural traits and comfort levels, making a less stressful experience for both horse and rider. In this case, Albert best fits into the criteria of an aloof horse. The aloof horse displays a great deal of independence and tolerance, however, under some circumstances, can become disinterested in work. This type of horse has been known to lack focus and can tend to shut off from stimuli. Therefore, training must be kept interesting, with lots of questions being posed to this type of horse to maintain the focus throughout the training session. Circles are also a brilliant way to introduce collection into the horse's walk. They are also good for a horse who overrules their rider. Spiral circles were introduced to work on basics whilst improving the horse's bend. Half halts were used throughout to check for feedback from the horse, also improving the horse's bond and timing. As the horse started to relax, the circle can also be increased in size, allowing the horse back out as a reward. The use of negative reinforcement was also used upon the circle by applying the leg to the horse's barrel. This asks the horse to move out, making the circle larger. Joe Weeks stated in the Complete Equine Training Manual that leg yield should only be attempted once turn on the forehand is perfected. Therefore, throughout the weeks, this exercise was the main part of this training plan. By riding a square and turning on the forehand in each corner shows the rider has control over the horse's ability to move sideways. Until turn on the forehand is perfected, leg yield should not be attempted. A single ground pole was placed on the floor for Albert to go over to make sure he was okay with poles before they were incorporated in the sessions. By arranging 4 ground poles flat on the floor in a square formation allows for more precise turn on the forehand. Upon the second session, Albert was more responsive to the leg and was able to follow the box formation, making turning more accurate. Upon the second session, leg yield was attempted. However, Albert showed lack of understanding of what was being asked, and therefore it will be necessary to practice more turn on the forehand before attempting leg yield again. The rider must show an understanding of learning theory. Learning theory is how the horse learns, establishing guidance of the correct training and behaviour of which is expected of them. Negative reinforcement is used to strengthen the desirable behavioural response by removing the adverse stimulus. This technique is widely implicated within the equine industry and is seen to be the most commonly used method. Application of leg was used to ask Albert to move forward. When this was performed, the adverse stimulus, the leg, was taken away, implying the horse had done what was asked of them. Mills 2010 states the importance of pressure release method and how it should be performed effectively. Once the desired behaviour of which the rider is looking for is performed by the horse, the pressure of the leg or rein aid should be immediately released, therefore rewarding the horse for the correct behaviour. If the pressure is not released immediately, the horse may show avoidance to the task prior to this in either a delayed or even no response to the rider's aids. It was stated by Warren and Writtle in 2017 that small levels of stress are necessary when training a horse for them to learn. However, this should be closely monitored to avoid stress becoming fear and therefore causing a welfare concern and pushing the horse too far. Stress levels were seen when asking Albert to do hogged poles. Therefore, the rider dismounted and led Albert over them to avoid any mixed signals and confusion, therefore lowering the stress levels. This task was performed well with confidence being shown from Albert, therefore it was rewarded by positive reinforcement in the form of patting. Positive reinforcement was used to follow up good behaviour by patting. By introducing a desired stimulus, this helps to strengthen the behaviour learnt prior. However, upon reflection, wither scratching has been found to be a better reward as it taps into the wild horse's instinct to groom one another. Therefore, if this project was done again, patting would be exchanged for scratching. Once again, on the third session, leg yield was attempted. Within this session, you could see a vast improvement with Albert crossing over his midline. However, he did fall out of the shoulder, therefore more practice is necessary before this task was completed again. Within this exercise, Albert was seen to rush. Therefore, it is key to address rhythm to improve the quality of the leg yield. It is stated by British Dressage's version of the scales of training that rhythm should both be regular and consistent in tempo. Rhythm is the initial skill within the scales of training, and therefore Without rhythm being shown in all four paces, the horse may not improve its way of going. The horse's body scoring affects the physiological functions influenced by the body score, of which also include exercise requirements, therefore highlighting the importance of the inclusion within this training plan, with the ideal body score being 5 to 6. Upon the score system, Albert scores at a 7. However, due to his breeding of being a cob with a more stocky frame, this is more difficult to identify. As seen in this video, Albert's improvements are shown when asked to do turn on the forehand from prior weeks. This is possibly due to repetition of this exercise during the training plan. Upon the final session, Albert was showing precise turn on the forehand with a greater concentration and lack of rushing which was seen in previous weeks. It was stated by Rhiannon Williams, a lecturer at Writtle University College, that hogged poles also assist with core and hind end engagement, therefore working to build musculature to Albert's small in comparison hindquarters. 3 hogged poles were then laid out parallel to one another, replicating what is asked for with the progression to the track within leg yield. However, this was seen to not work for Albert, therefore this was stopped and progressed to leg yield. Finally, on the last session with Albert, leg yield was produced, challenging the horse to cross its midline. This exercise not only benefits the horse's suppleness, but also improves the horse's musculature in the hindquarters, increasing the flexibility. This is due to temporary increase of weight. By taking into consideration the short time spent working with Albert, there was seen to be a good improvement with this horse becoming more responsive and understanding what the rider's aides were asking of him. By the end of this 2-week training plan, it was seen that Albert was able to display leg yield when asked, however, tended to fall out in the shoulder. To make this exercise easier, leg yield was asked for a few strides, then the rider was able to straighten the horse back out, making sure that the shoulder was not dropped in avoidance of this exercise. This was carried out with repetition throughout the training plan till the task was met. If there was more time and a more constant training plan, I do believe the desired leg yield would be met due to the horse's work ethic and motivation to do well. This training program was done twice a week for 2 weeks with a total of 4 training sessions. This was done as otherwise the 3 break off for Easter may lead to too much repetition and detraining of the horse. If this training plan was done again, I would stick to 2 sessions a week, but over 6 weeks. Although Albert is a quick learner and was able to perform what was asked, these extra 2 sessions would do a world of good for this horse.